students, welcome back to the course Fluid Mechanics. We are discussing properties of fluids. Today we need to talk about surface tension. Okay? So let's have a look on the definition of surface tension. Surface tension means a tensile force acting on the surface due to unbalanced cohesive forces. We already discussed the definition of cohesive and adhesive forces. What is the meaning of cohesive forces? The force of attraction between similar molecules. And what is meant by adhesive forces? The force of attraction between dissimilar molecules. Okay, now here one more thing we need to discuss here is a tensile or stitching force. How stitching action occurs along the surface due to unbalanced cohesive forces we need to discuss in detail in this session. Okay, let's have a look on the two molecules. Here A is a molecule which present inside the liquid. Here B is the molecule which present along the surface. Okay, now B is the molecule which present on the surface. Okay, now first focus on the molecule A. Here there are similar type of molecules surrounded by the molecule A. Molecule A experienced by cohesive forces with surrounding fluid molecules. These are the cohesive forces. Once you observe the molecule A, you will get what you observed here. Tell me. The molecule A is experienced by balanced cohesive forces. Here, sum of the upward forces equal to sum of the downward forces. The molecule A is in equilibrium condition. Here, sigma F for the molecule A equivalents to 0. Okay, the molecule A is experienced by balanced cohesive forces. The molecule A is in equilibrium condition. Okay, now here it is experienced by cohesive forces with the surrounding molecules. Finally, molecule A is in equilibrium condition. Now, focus on the molecule B which present on the surface. The molecule B, this is the molecule B present on the surface. Feel that the molecule B experienced by two different forces. What are they? The force of attraction between the molecule B and surrounding liquid molecules. The force of attraction between molecule B surrounding liquid molecules. It is called cohesive forces. Okay, the net cohesive forces acting downward direction. Next, one more force. The force of attraction between molecule B and surrounding air molecules. It is called adhesive forces. Here, net adhesive forces acting upward direction. Here, the magnitude of net cohesive forces higher than the magnitude of net adhesive forces. That is why the molecule B is experienced by unbalanced cohesive forces. Here, different molecules, molecule B surrounded so many molecules present on the surface. All molecules experienced by unbalanced cohesive forces. Due to these unbalanced cohesive forces, some stitching action will take place on the surface. The surface experienced by stitching force due to unbalanced cohesive forces. So, the magnitude of tensile or stitching force acting along the surface due to unbalanced cohesive forces, this phenomena is called surface tension. Okay? This tension here, downward F cohesive, upward F adhesive. Here this particular thing, sigma F B will be acting downward direction. Okay, net force acting on the molecule B is downward direction because F cohesive will be greater than F adhesive. It is very simple actually. Molecule B experienced by two types of forces. One is force of attraction between the molecule B and surrounding fluid molecules. That is called cohesive force. Force of attraction between the molecule B and the surrounding air molecules. That is adhesive force. F cohesive greater than the F adhesive. That is why net force acting downward direction. Okay? So the molecule B is not in equilibrium condition. Whatever the molecule present on the surface, all molecules experienced by unbalanced cohesive forces. That is why some stretching action will take place along the surface. This stretching force per unit length is nothing but surface tension. This is all about the phenomena of the fluid. Surface tension. The unit of surface tension is Ft per unit length, Newton per meter. You can define surface tension as work done per unit area. Work done per unit area of, it is nothing but joule per meter square. This is surface tension. Tensile force acting per unit length and work done per area. So joule per meter square. Okay? The unit of surface tension is Newton per meter or joule per meter square. So you should observe that point. This point is very interesting. Okay? Here F cohesive is greater than adhesive. The molecule B experienced by unbalanced cohesive forces. What is the reason for surface tension is it's due to unbalanced cohesive forces. Because of this, stretching action takes place along the surface. Okay? So you need to explain like this. If you face same question in the interview, you need to explain in a proper way. Then only interviewer will get a good impression on you. Okay? So you need to draw the figure, explain about these two. Finally, that's. This is all about surface tension. Next, write down up to here. Next heading. Now we need to discuss some of the applications of surface tension. We already studied this part in intermediate. First, right now, just to recall those points. Raindrop attains the shape of the sphere due to surface tension. What is the reason for spherical raindrops? Well, that is surface tension. Why? Why only sphere? Why not rectangular? Why not cubical? Why not some other else? Why only sphere? We need to discuss here. Due to surface tension, here, surface area of the raindrop decreases due to surface tension. Here, mathematically surface area, spherical surface area of the cylinder cube. Yeah, now we need to look into applications of surface tension. We already studied this part in intermediate. Just a recall of those two points. Here, raindrop attains the shape of the sphere due to surface tension. In general, raindrops are in a spherical shape. Why only spherical? Why not cylindrical? Why not cubical? We need to discuss here. In general, surface area of the raindrop decreases due to surface tension. Okay, na? This stretching action, na? So, because of this particular stretching action and everything, this particular surface tension decreasing the surface area of the raindrop. Okay. Mathematically, among these three shapes, okay, na? So sphere is having minimum surface area. That is why raindrops attains the shape of sphere. It is very simple. Generally, raindrops are in spherical shape. What is the reason for spherical shape? Is surface tension decreases the surface area. Okay, so all forces are acting now, so it decreases surface area of the raindrop. So among these three shapes, mathematically we already know this point, surface area of the sphere is less compared to cylinder and cube. That is why raindrop takes shape of the sphere. Okay, so that is the reason for spherical raindrops. Okay, next, right now, detergents. We need to discuss one more application on surface tension. Here, detergents means soaps and all. Okay, so here what is happening? How we need to relate surface tension concept? Yeah, we need to discuss in detail. That is, assume that one cloth is there. Okay, it is having some dust particles are in the cloth. You dipped that particular cloth inside the water. Even though dust particles stick to the cloth due to surface tension. Okay, so some surface tension forces are acting between that particular dust particle and the cloth. Dust particle can't leave the cloth. Okay, so to break this bond between the cloth and dust particles, we need to use detergents to break the bond between dust and cloth. Okay, na? We need to use detergents. Okay, so sometimes a very small amount of tensile forces are acting. So dust particle will be staying on the surface of the cloth. Okay, so by using detergents, you can break all tensile forces. Okay, so finally, dust particles will leave the cloth. That is called washing of the cloth. Okay, so this is also because of surface tension. Now, surface tension at water air interface at 20 degrees centigrade is 0.0736 Newton per meter. Okay, it is important actually for normal water na. So because of the surface tension, very small insects like mosquitoes, okay na. So some mosquitoes will be standing over the surface of some mosquitoes will be standing over the surface of the fluid. Okay, mosquito small leaves. Okay, so due to surface tension, the fluid can bear very small amount of loads like mosquitoes, some insects. Okay, so those can happily stand over the surface of the liquid. That is because of surface tension only. Okay, so per meter, this much amount of weight of the mosquitoes will be able to stand over the liquid. So first we need to calculate weight of each mosquito. After that, calculate the length of the surface. Okay, so this many number of mosquitoes will be freely stand over the surface. That is all about this particular value. Okay, so 0.0736 Newton per meter. So when it can bear this particular surface behaves as a membrane. Okay, so that particular membrane can bear very small amount of loads. That is the phenomena of surface tension. It happened everything because of unbalanced cohesive forces. This is all about surface tension. Now we need to derive an expression for pressure inside the liquid droplet and soap bubble, air bubble, and finally liquid jet. Okay, write down, put a heading, pressure inside the liquid droplet. Pressure inside the liquid droplet. So first draw the figure. Liquid droplet, of course it is spherical in shape. Here okay, here some surface tension is acting on the surface. Okay, surface tension is acting on the surface. This is surface tension. Here also same thing. Surface tension acting on the surface. Some pressure force acting along the cross section. Okay na? So the pressure force acting across the cross section. Here it is pressure force P. Pressure force always compressive in nature. Okay, so here it is acting like this. Pressure inside the liquid droplet. Here d is the diameter of liquid droplet. D equal to diameter of liquid droplet. Is very simple actually. Pressure force equals to Fp equals to pressure into cross sectional area. Okay na? Pressure into cross sectional area. Okay, that is P into pi d square by 4. Next, surface tension force. Okay, so surface tension force equal to, it is tensile in nature, sigma into here surface tension. So what is the definition of surface tension? Sigma equals to tensile force. Okay, surface tension force by length of the thing. Force per unit length. What is the length of the thing? Perimeter. Okay. Fs by pi into d. This is called surface tension. Sigma is equal to, it is acting along the periphery. Okay, so what is the length of the thing? Total length you need to calculate. So just multiply sigma with perimeter, you will get surface tension force. Under equilibrium condition, pressure force equals to surface tension force. Here pressure force is acting in this direction, surface tension force is acting like this. Okay, so consider one liquid droplet, half of the thing. Consider half of the liquid droplet. Yeah, see here. Here it is sigma. Fp will be acting. So net Fs. Net Fs will be acting like this. Okay. So here this particular thing at this particular point under equilibrium condition, just have a look on the free body diagram for liquid droplet. I consider half of the liquid droplet, total pressure force acting in towards the thing. Total pressure force is acting like this, and surface tension force acting outwards. Total surface tension force is acting outwards. Under equilibrium condition, surface tension force is acting away, and the pressure force always compressive in nature. Surface tension force equals to pressure force. Surface tension force equal to pressure force. Sigma into pi d equals to pressure P into pi d square by 4. Finally, here pi d gets cancelled out. 4 sigma by d is nothing but P. Here P is, what is P here? Pressure inside the liquid droplet. Okay, that is P equals to 4 sigma by D. Actually, it is gauge pressure. Okay, so gauge pressure. We can discuss what is meant by gauge pressure, absolute vacuum. what is the class, what are the different pressures we need to study in fluid mechanics course. It is gauge pressure. Strictly speaking, gauge pressure inside the liquid droplet. It is actually gauge pressure. Again, so it's very simple actually. Liquid droplet, it is having one surface. Once a draw free body diagram for the surface. Okay, so pressure force acting inward, tensile force is acting outward, tensile force is due to surface tension. Okay, surface tension force is acting away, pressure force is acting inward. Draw free body diagram at this point. Just equate these two. How to determine pressure force? Generally, pressure is acting across that particular cross section. Okay, it is acting on the cross section. What is meant by pressure? The magnitude of external pressure force acting per unit area of cross section. Okay, that is the definition of pressure. Pressure force per unit area of cross section is called pressure. Pressure force equal to pressure into area of cross section. What is the area of cross section of liquid droplet? Pi d square by 4, P into pi d square by 4. How to calculate surface tension force? From the definition of surface tension. Surface tension is nothing but surface tension force per unit length. Okay na? So here surface tension acting along the periphery of the liquid droplet. Okay? So what is the perimeter that we need to calculate? Force per unit length. What is the length here? Perimeter. So Fs by pi d. So what is surface tension force? Sigma into pi d. Equate these two, then you can calculate pressure inside the liquid droplet. Now, write down up to here. Next, put a note. Note 1. Pressure inside strictly speaking, it is pressure inside the liquid droplet is nothing but gauge pressure. Okay? Gauge pressure is nothing but excess pressure. Excess pressure. What is the definition of gauge pressure? The pressure above the atmospheric pressure. Okay, you can call it as excess pressure inside the liquid droplet. Excess pressure inside the liquid droplet. So pressure excess pressure inside the liquid droplet 4 sigma by d. It is droplet. Okay? Now, note 2. Excess pressure inside the soap bubble. Okay, excess soap bubble. Okay, soap bubble is having two surfaces. Okay, liquid droplet is having only one surface, soap bubble is having two surfaces. That is why 2 times of liquid droplet you will get it. Pressure excess droplet. Okay, you will get 2 times of this. So here this is equivalent to 8 sigma by D. That means P excess pressure inside the soap bubble. Inside the soap bubble is nothing but 8 sigma by D. Now here we are having 2 good points. Note 3. Excess pressure inside the air bubble raised in water. Here number of effective surfaces equal to 1. That is why P excess in the air bubble raised in water. Okay, so raised in water equal to 4 sigma by D. Here number of effective surfaces, tell me. Number of effective surfaces equal to 1. Here 2 surfaces are number of effective surfaces equal to 2. One more good point is excess pressure inside the air bubble in the air. It is similar to the soap bubble. Okay? It is similar to the soap bubble. But generally people won't ask air bubble in the air. It is not that much popular. Air bubble raised in water. Okay? It is important, right? Air bubble present in the water. That is popular. That is why what is the pressure inside the air bubble raised in water? Here it is having 1 effective surface. That is why it equals to 4 sigma by D. Soap bubble, it is having 2 effective surfaces. Then P excess pressure inside the soap bubble is 8 sigma by 2. Excess pressure inside the liquid droplet, it is having only 1 effective surface. We already proved that P excess in droplet is nothing but 4 sigma by D. Right on up to here. Now put heading excess pressure inside the liquid jet. Right on up to here. Excess pressure inside the liquid jet. Okay, the pressure inside the liquid jet. Excess pressure means gauge pressure. Generally people will draw a figure like this. Liquid jet, it is having diameter D, of course. So cylindrical one, of course, it is a liquid jet. Diameter D, length of the liquid jet is L. Now draw free body diagram for the left part. Follow the same procedure as liquid droplet. ठीक है. Your pressure force is acting like this, and sigma you can have a look on the figure. And here what is happening? The net force acting at this point is nothing but Fs. Okay, so it is tensile in nature, surface tension force. Here it is diameter d and length will be L. Okay. What is the free body diagram? Free body diagram for the left part is nothing but under equilibrium condition. So the free body diagram will be pressure force and surface tension force. Now, what is the magnitude of pressure force? Right now, pressure force. We already discussed how to determine pressure force. Pressure into area of cross section. Okay, what is the area of cross section of the liquid jet? Tell me. Here you can see a rectangular cross section. That is nothing but P into L into AD. Okay, now this is nothing but pressure into area of cross section. Simple. Now surface tension force. Surface tension force. Just now we discussed. It is what? Surface tension into perimeter. Of course, perimeter. Sigma into 2 into L plus D. This is the perimeter na. What is the area? L into D. Perimeter P is equal to 2 into L plus D. It is rectangular cross section. Rectangular cross section. Diameter D, length L. Okay. So what is the perimeter of it is rectangular cross section? 2 into L plus D. Area of cross section is L into D. That's it. So it is very simple actually. Now under equilibrium condition, Fp equals to Fs. Pressure force equals to surface tension force. Pressure force is nothing but P into L into D. Surface tension force sigma into 2 into L plus D. Now excess pressure inside the liquid jet equals to 2 sigma L plus D by LD. Now here 2 sigma by D into take LD inside. You will get, what you will get, tell me? 1 by D. No. Take L inside. Take L inside. 1 plus D by L. Correct now? Excess pressure inside the liquid jet equal to 2 sigma by D into 1 plus D by L. This is the actual expression, but here D is far less than the L. D by L is approximately equal to 0. D by L can be neglected. Why? Because length of the jet is far higher than the diameter of the jet. That is why P excess in the liquid jet equivalents to 2 sigma by d. This is the expression for liquid jet. This is all about liquid jet. Basic definitions of pressure in the sense external force per unit area of cross section. Surface tension means tensile force acting per unit length. Length means here it is perimeter. Area of cross section. What is the area of cross section of the liquid jet? Rectangular cross section. Once you cut the liquid jet, you can see a rectangular cross section. Area of the rectangular cross section, perimeter of the rectangular cross section. Just multiply pressure with area of cross section, you will get pressure force. Multiply this particular surface tension with perimeter, you will get surface tension force. Under equilibrium condition, surface tension force equal to pressure force. Finally, you got a beautiful expression for excess pressure inside the liquid jet. It is a gauge pressure, the pressure above the atmospheric pressure, and 2 sigma by d into 1 plus d by L. Here, diameter of the liquid jet is far less than the length of the liquid jet. That is why we can neglect d by L. Finally, so you got the beautiful expression for excess pressure inside the liquid jet. Everybody knows this expression, but initially we need to prove it. Then after, we need to neglect d by L. That is the procedure. We need to follow the fundamentals. Fine. This is all about surface tension and excess pressure inside the liquid droplet and SO bubble, air bubble rising inside the water. Finally, excess pressure inside the liquid jet. This is all about surface tension. Now, we need to discuss capillarity. In that, capillary rise and capillary fall. Okay, it is a wonderful topic. We can discuss, we can derive the expression for capillary rise and capillary fall. Okay, so write down up to here. Yeah, put a note. Note 1. Wetting fluids. What is meant by wetting fluids? Here it is a surface, liquid droplet or molecule from here to here. You need to measure the angle with the positive direction of x-axis. Here it is theta. Theta is acute angle. Okay, so wetting means adhesive forces greater than the cohesive forces. In that case, you will get acute angle. Okay, theta will be acute if adhesive forces higher than the cohesive forces. Here you can wetting means what? Once you pour water on the surface, it can happily spread over the surface. That is called wetting action of the fluid. For example, if you pour same water on the polythene cover, it can't spread over the polythene cover. You will see some droplets of water on the polythene cover. That is what? Water and polythene cover combination. In that case, water is not a wetting fluid. What is the reason for wetting action of the surface or wetting action of the fluid? So here, if adhesive forces greater than the cohesive forces. In that case, fluid particles or fluid molecules will spread over the surface. Then wetting action will take place. Why? Because adhesive forces means the force of traction. The force of traction between dissimilar molecules. The force of attraction between dissimilar or different molecules. The force of attraction between the liquid molecules and surface molecules. Here, the force of attraction between liquid molecules and surface molecules are higher than the force of attraction between liquid molecule and adjacent another liquid molecule. In that case, the fluid is very much interested to spread over the fluids, that particular surface. That is called wetting action. Here, force of attraction between the liquid molecules and surface molecules is higher. Here, what is meant by cohesive forces? The force of attraction between liquid molecules. Okay, the force of attraction between similar molecules. That is liquid molecules. The force of attraction between one liquid molecule and adjacent liquid molecule is cohesive force. The force of attraction between liquid molecules and the surface particles or surface molecules. Here, adhesive forces are higher than the cohesive forces. In that case, liquid will spread over the surface. You can call it as a wetting action. That kind of fluid is called wetting fluid. Example is water and water poured on the floor. ठीक है ना? It is floor, normal floor. ठीक है? So here it is a water droplet, liquid molecules or water molecules. If you pour water on the polythene cover, okay, it can't spread over the polythene cover. Okay, so now non-wetting fluids. Non-wetting fluids, note 2. No, it is note 1 only. Separate the page into two halves. Non-wetting fluids. So here you can see this molecule spreading over the thing. Here what is happening? You can take the angle theta. Obtuse. Theta is obtuse angle. It is more than 90 degrees. Here force adhesive less than the cohesive. Okay. Yeah, force of attraction between the molecules, liquid molecules is very high. It is liquid drop. It contains similar molecules. Okay, the force of attraction between those molecules is very high. Here, example is mercury. Mercury, Hg. It is non-wetting fluid. Even you pour it, it can form like droplets. Okay, so mercury can't wet the floors. Okay, so here it is. Here you can call it as a non-wetting fluid. What is the reason for that? the force of attraction between the mercury molecules and this particular surface molecules less than the force of attraction between similar mercury molecules will be higher. Okay? So here the force of attraction between the mercury molecules will be higher than the force of attraction between mercury and surface molecules. That is why it can't wet the float. Okay? So non-wetting fluid. It is the example, and theta will be obtuse angle. Here theta is acute angle. Here F adhesive will be greater than F cohesive. Some covers na, once you pour water or something else. So if you play like this, what will happen? It can dance like anything. Okay? So that is the non-wetting fluid. Those droplets will dance on the paper. Okay? So that is called non-wetting fluid. What is the reason is important. Okay? What is the reason for wetting action? Some fluids and combination of fluid and surface. Wetting action taking place. Some combination wetting action is not taking place. This dancing business is coming. Okay, those droplets are dancing on the paper. Okay, what is the reason for that? This is the reason. Here, non-wetting fluid means the force of attraction between the liquid molecules are very high. That is why it formed a drop-like thing. Okay, the force of attraction between the liquid molecules and the floor is very less. Okay, so that is why wetting action won't take place. But here, the force of attraction between the liquid molecules and the surface molecules is very high. That is why wetting action will take place. Water is the example for wetting fluid, and mercury is example for non-wetting fluid. Okay, so here liquid water always wetting fluid. I don't think so. Okay, it depends on the nature of the surface also. It will definitely depend on the nature of the surface. Okay? So, in most of the cases, water is a wetting fluid. Mercury is a non-wetting fluid. That's it. Okay? So, now we need to discuss capillarity, and we need to determine capillary rise and capillary fall. Next. Yeah, put a note to very simple actually. We already discussed this part now. Diameter is D. From here to here, some fluid present. From here to here, it is H. It is a capillary tube. Capillary tube. Okay. So, gamma is the specific weight of the fluid. Now, weight of the fluid present in the capillary tube. Okay, weight of the fluid in the capillary tube equivalents to specific weight into volume. Okay, we know that gamma is equal to weight per unit volume. Okay, so weight of the fluid present inside the capillary tube, gamma into pi d square by 4 into h. Pi d square per h. This is weight of the fluid present inside the capillary tube. So this property is very important. We need to use the definition of specific weight or weight density. Is nothing but weight per unit volume. We need to determine the magnitude of weight of the fluid present inside the capillary tube. Now put heading capillary action or capillarity. Capillarity. Here, capillarity, the phenomenon of rise or fall of liquid in a small diameter capillary tube. Observe this point, small diameter capillary tube when it is immersed in the liquid. First focus on capillary rise. Capillary rise. Very simple. So you poured some water in the glass or something on top, whatever the thing it is. Some water present inside it. Some water is here. So initially I took water. It is ordinary water. Ordinary water means it's not a mineral water. Okay? It's not a pure water. Normal water. Okay? So here just I immersed a glass tube, then you will see rise of the liquid column in glass tube. Of course, you will observe it. Okay, so some rise you will see. Rise of the liquid column in the thing. So some liquid will come down, that liquid come inside the tube, and you will see the rise of the liquid column in the glass tube. H rise. Okay? Water under here, ordinary water in contact with the glass tube. Here you will see concavity. The angle of contact is acute. Here it is. So this particular some force is acting along the periphery. That is nothing but surface tension force. Surface tension force equivalent to sigma into pi d. It is angle of contact theta. Okay, so ordinary water is a wetting fluid. That is why here theta is acute. Just now we discussed data. Okay, so for wetting fluid, angle of contact is acute. Just to resolve the forces, it is Fs cos theta. So this is resultant force, resultant tensile force acting on the periphery. Okay? So you consider total perimeter, that is total tensile force acting on the periphery. Now it is Fs sin theta. Okay, so Fs cos theta is acting vertically upward direction. Now we need to focus on weight of the fluid present inside the capillary tube up to here. Okay, so Thus, whatever the fluid present up to here, we need to determine. This is weight of the fluid present inside the capillary tube. So, up to H rise. This is of course H rise. Here, tell me, weight of the fluid raised in the capillary tube. So, weight of the fluid equals to product of specific weight of the fluid into volume of the fluid present or volume of the fluid rise. Okay, volume of the fluid rise, gamma pi d square by 4 into H rise. This much amount of fluid is raised in capillary tube. Now, under equilibrium condition, of course, under equilibrium condition, that means here we need to draw free body diagram at this point. Weight acting vertically downward direction, weight of the fluid raised inside the capillary tube is acting vertically downward direction. Now, Fs cos theta is acting vertically upward direction. Under equilibrium condition, sigma v equals to 0. That means sigma v equals to 0. Fs cos theta equals to weight of the fluid raised. Okay, weight of the fluid rise. Okay, here sigma pi d cos theta equals to gamma of the fluid pi d square by 4 into H rise. Okay, here sigma pi d is nothing but total force, total surface tension force acting on the periphery. Okay, here what you will get, tell me? H rise you need to calculate. Pi d gets cancelled out. 4 sigma cos theta by gamma, this particular d, you will get it. Here it is H rise. Okay, so here pi d gets cancelled out. 4 will come here. 4 sigma cos theta by gamma into d. Finally, H rise equals to 4 sigma cos theta by rho g d. It is nothing but gamma equals to specific weight. We know that gamma equals to specific weight equals to rho g. Specific weight of the fluid or weight density of the fluid is nothing but rho g. H rise equal to 4 sigma cos theta by rho dg. Here theta equals to 21 degrees for ordinary water in contact with the glass tube. Okay, this is theta equals to 21 degrees. This is all about capillarity rise. Right up here, capillarity rise. Right now, next, in this capillarity, now I am pouring pure water. Pure water. You can call it as a mineral water. Okay? So, in this case, for pure water condition, you won't get this kind of thing. Okay? So, here it will rise up to here. Okay? So, weight of course acting, weight always act vertically downward direction, and here surface tension force will be acting vertically upward direction. All surface tension forces, surface tension is acting vertically upward direction. again sigma, all sigmas acting vertically upward direction. So resultant surface tension force equals to pi d, sigma into pi d, sigma into pi d. Here this particular thing is theta is making an angle, the resultant force with respect to the vertical surface. Here theta equals to 0 degrees. So theta equal to, so now just follow the thing. Fs equals to sigma into pi d. For this particular case, there is no Fs sin theta, only one component will get it. H rise is this. Now we are discussing pure water is in contact with the glass tube, clean glass tube. Pure water is in contact with the clean glass tube. Here it is 0 degrees. Ordinary water, it is pure water is in contact with the clean glass tube. In that case, here Fs only comes. Fs equal to sigma into pi d. There is no cos theta. Of course, the cos theta, you should not take cos theta because cos 0 equal to 1. Okay, so no cos theta, no cos theta. Okay, finally, this is the expression for H rise. The final expression for H rise in case of when water is raised. Here you took pure water is in contact with the glass tube. The final expression here is H rise equal to 4 sigma by rho GD. Here angle of contact equal to 0 degrees for pure water in contact with the clean glass tube. This is the expression. So write down up to here. Initially we took ordinary water and it is in contact with the glass tube. In that case, theta is an acute angle, theta equal to 21 degrees for ordinary water is in contact with the glass tube. That is why in that case, you got some concave shape here, concavity. Okay, so we derived for that. What is H rise? 4 sigma cos theta by rho GD. But here theta equal to 0, that is why cos theta equal to 1, 4 sigma by rho GD. Right on up here. Now we can discuss capillary fall. Capillary fall. Here capillary fall. It is not that much great thing. You replaced water with mercury. Pour mercury here, it is mercury. Then you inserted, pour mercury up to here. You inserted a glass tube. You inserted a glass tube. Here you will get a concave shape. Okay? Here it is making an angle theta. It is Fs. You need to take an angle with respect to a vertical. Here theta is obtuse angle. Theta is obtuse angle. We already know that mercury is non-wetting fluid. Non-wetting fluid, you will get angle of contact is obtuse angle. Okay? So here it is convex shape, convexity. Okay? So here theta is obtuse. Here theta equal to 132 degrees for mercury is in contact with the clean glass tube. Mercury is in contact with the clean glass tube. Here draw free body diagram. Just draw free body diagram here. So weight of the fluid, of course, from here to here. Here it is what? H fall. Again, H fall. Here it is H fall. H fall is nothing but here this much amount of fluid fallen in the capillary tube. Now, here you need to take weight of the fluid covered within the cylinder. That weight is acting vertically downward direction. Here it is weight of the fluid is acting vertically downward direction, and this particular thing Fs is making an angle theta with the vertical. Okay, so theta with the vertical. Here Fs, just we take Fs cos theta. Now we need to resolve the components. What is the horizontal component here is? Here, this is the free body diagram for the fluid present here. Okay, so some fluid fallen. Okay, na? So for that, once you write the weight of the fluid fallen, you have taken here. So what is the vertical component? Fs cos theta. Fs cos theta. Okay, sum of the upward force equal to sum of the downward forces. Here, just took here H fall, you will get it, H fall, and here Fs cos theta, you will get it, Fs cos theta, and W fall, you will get it, Fs cos theta and cos theta, H fall, it is also H fall, cos theta. So finally cos theta, H fall. That's it. So total expression is same. What we changed here? Here theta is obtuse angle. Theta is obtuse angle. That is why cos theta will be negative. What is the answer? Finally we will get a negative value. Negative representing falling fluid. Okay na? So capillary fall represented with negative value. Okay? So here theta is obtuse angle. For mercury is in contact with the clean glass tube. Here theta equal to 132 degrees. Okay? So it is all about capillary fall. You will see this particular case when a tube inserted or immersed in the mercury. In that case, you will get convexity. Just this much amount of fluid is fallen. Okay, so amount of fluid fall, H fall. How to determine the magnitude of H fall? For that, I have drawn free body diagram. Weight of the fluid fallen. Weight of the fluid fall is acting vertically downward direction, and resultant surface tension force is acting tangentially. So theta is the contact angle made by the resultant surface tension with the vertical is nothing but angle of contact. Here mercury is a non-wetting fluid. That is why angle of contact is obtuse. Okay. Here adhesive forces are less than the cohesive forces. That is why it is a non-wetting fluid. For non-wetting fluid, angle of contact is greater than 90 degrees. And for just apply that concept here, theta must be obtuse. That is why this is the resultant surface tension. What is the vertical component of Fs? Fs cos theta. Okay, just apply equilibrium equations. Just we know that weight of the fluid fallen equals to specific weight into weight of the volume of the fluid fallen. It is nothing but gamma into pi d square by 4 into H fall. Under equilibrium condition, weight of the fluid acting downward direction, Fs cos theta is acting vertically upward direction. Sigma V equal to 0. Finally, fluid fall. So sigma v equal to 0, fs cos theta equal to w fluid fall, sigma pi d cos theta equal to gamma pi d square into h fall, 4 sigma cos theta by gamma d equal to h fall. Okay, so here you got everything. You can replace specific weight with rho g, gamma equal to rho g. We know that gamma equal to rho g. This is the h fall in case of when a capillary tube immersed in the mercury. Okay, so theta equal to 132 degrees. This is all about capillary fall. That's it. We discussed what is the phenomena of capillarity. Okay, and then it is nothing but phenomena of rise or fall. We discussed capillary rise. Capillary rise you have seen when you immerse a capillary tube in the water. We discussed two cases, ordinary water and pure water. But here capillary fall when a tube immersed in the mercury. So this is capillary fall case. You determine the magnitude of H rise and H fall in two different cases. Okay, so now you can solve some problems on properties of the fluids. This is all about capillarity. Right on up to here? Yeah, put a note. We need to discuss two different cases. See that? You pour some water. You immerse a capillary tube very small diameter capillary tube. After that, we have seen some rise in the liquid column in capillary tube. It is ordinary water. Ordinary water. So here, this is the thing. Here H rise, of course, H rise in case 1. It is case 1. Now, case 2. Here case 2. In this case, I am pouring some hot water. Okay, so it is ordinary water. I am pouring some hot water. I am pouring some hot water. Just a similar type of tube. Same tube. Immersed in the hot water. We can say ordinary cold water. Ordinary water means, of course, cold water. Here it is hot water. Hot water. Here what you will observe, here is the rise of the fluid is a little lesser compared to rise of the fluid here. Okay, so here H rise in case 2. Here it is case 2. Okay, so H rise case 1 will be greater than H rise in case 2. Okay, hot water and normal cold water. Okay, so this is all. Why? Because we know that H rise equivalents to 4 sigma cos theta by rho dg. 4 sigma cos theta by rho dg. Theta is same and d same, g same, everything is same. But sigma, with increasing temperature increases for liquids. For liquids, temperature increases, then surface tension of the liquids decreases. Okay, temperature increases, then surface tension decreases, H rise also decreases in the second case. So the effect of temperature on the density will be less compared to effect of temperature on the surface tension. Okay, so the decrement in the surface tension will be higher than the decrement of the density of the fluid. Okay, so you will see less changes in the decrement in the density of the fluid. Okay, so by increasing temperature, density of the fluid also decreases. Here the decrement will be higher, okay, compared to the decrease in density of the fluid. Okay, so the temperature is inversely related with the density. Okay, so density is inversely related with temperature. Surface tension also inversely related with temperature. It is all about fluid. Okay, density of the fluid. Understood now? Here sigma decreases more compared to the decrement in the density. Okay, so that is why H rise in the case 1 will be greater than H rise in the case 2. Once you pour hot water, immerse a capillary tube, you will see less rise in the fluid column in capillary tube. Okay, so this is one of the interview question asked in BARC. Okay, so you replace the ordinary cold water with hot water in that case. What is just explain about H rise in ordinary cold water and H rise in hot water. In both the cases, H rise in the fluid column will occur. You will see capillary rise in both the cases. Why? Because water is a wetting fluid. Theta is acute angle. So you can happily derive this expression in front of the interviewer, and you need to relate temperature with surface tension. Here these two parameters are depending on the temperature, but which one is decreasing more? It is very important. Here by increasing temperature, surface tension decreases. With increasing temperature, density of the fluid decreases. Okay, so in that case, how can you decide? Both are decreasing. Okay, so the effect of surface tension will be higher here. Okay, now due to temperature, the effect in the surface tension is higher than the effect in the density. That is why we can conclude that rise of the ordinary cold water column in the capillary tube is greater than the rise of hot water column in the capillary tube is there. So here H rise in first case will be greater than H rise in the second case. Okay, so once you take hot water, you will see less rise rise of hot to water column in capillary tube. Now, right on up to here. This is one of the good question in the interview. Make use of it. Okay? So, I can say that we completed properties of the fluids. We started with contents of properties of the fluid. Then we started density of the fluid, then weight density or specific weight, then relative density and a specific gravity. After that, compressibility, bulk modulus. Then we started viscosity. Okay, so we have done good discussion on viscosity. We solved some problems regarding viscosity in GATE and other competitive exams. After that, so we discussed surface tension also. In that, the expression for the derivation of excess pressure inside the liquid droplet, liquid soap bubble, and then air bubble raised in the water, and excess pressure inside the liquid jet. Okay, so then we started a capillarity here, capillary rise, capillary fall, and different cases. This is all about properties of the fluids. You should become expert in the definition of all the properties of the fluids wherever it came. Okay, sometimes gamma, specific weight of the water is required. Okay, so you should know all the calculations. Wherever dynamic viscosity calculations came, you should use these fundamentals. And the units also very important while solving problems. Okay, so hope you have done the best for properties of the fluids. That means we need to solve, after that we need to solve some problems on properties of the fluids. First, we need to cover all previous year questions regarding properties of the fluids in fluid mechanics course for both mechanical and civil engineering students. After that, we can solve a set of practice questions regarding properties of the fluids. So we can do, I think 2 more lectures required to cover all the problems. Okay, then similar type of problems I will give you for the practice. Okay, so if you have any doubt, please drop me a mail to prajnainstitutions@gmail.com. Thank you. We can meet in the next class.